How's it going, everyone? This is Marshmallow HD here, coming back at you with another video. It's going to be my new series that I'm going to be putting on my channel. Kind of new, I would say. I did do a series like this about maybe 2 years ago, back in Season 4. When I was still a little new to the game, and I kind of still had a kind of grasp of what I'm trying to do. Now I'm kind of a seasoned veteran, I guess, into the game. This is about my third season now, so if you'd like to stay tuned on how to lane in League of Legends, this will be what it's called from any actual series. In this video in particular, it's going to be how to ADC. If you'd like to check out the other videos that I did do about 2 years ago, they are still posted on my channel. Just type in how to ADC Marshmallow HD, and it should pop up. So stay tuned for more laning in League of Legends. As I get to more videos, they'll be coming out soon. So to start this guide off, I personally am an ADC main. I think the ADC is one of the best roles to play and be in, especially if you know what you're doing. Like all positions, it does take time and practice to be both good in-game and with the designated champion that you're playing. The ADC role is great to learn because you will have the opportunity to change the outcome of the game for good games and bad games, depending on if you're behind and if you're ahead. It can go either way, just depends on multiple things inside the game. The champions that you see on screen are just a few of the 21 total champions available in the game as of right now. I personally main Jhin, Jinx, and Lucian. Now, there are other champions that I do play as well, but I just am more comfortable with Jhin, Jinx, and Lucian. I'm going to categorize this guide into a few different parts that make the game most impactful throughout the game. So what is the ADC or Marksman role? The ADC or Marksman role, some may call it, is the player that deals the most amount of damage over the entire game other than the mid laner. While your team is soaking up damage in team fights, you're trying to deal as much damage as you possibly can over the entire game. In team fights, along with your mid laner that does also a lot of magic damage as well, usually, you will be one of the top priorities of getting the most damage out while your team soaks up damage in team fights. And we'll get to that later. As well as the other team as well is going to be doing the same exact thing vice versa. Like all positions in League of Legends, this role is best when you have multiple picks in the pick and ban phase. I would advise to main about 2 to 4 champions so you can have a variety of ADCs to choose from, in ranked or normals. Like I've said before, my top most comfortable ADCs are Jhin, Jinx, and Lucian. So for this next part, it's going to be the laning phase. ADCs are usually placed in the bot lane with the support to help guide them in the lane. Like all positions in League of Legends, ADCs are required to last hit to gain gold. I will go over the term last hitting in just a second, but learning to lane with your actual support is great to know just for even a strong laning phase. I mean, it's always important to know who you're laning with. I mean, you may not know them personally, you may not know them, obviously in real life. You may not know them at all. It just may be you just queued up like a solo and you're now with the guy. Just try to get ask questions with your support. That's what I usually do. I say, oh, are you more aggressive? Are you more passive? Then I'll know in lane where, as I'm an aggressive ADC, where I like to be aggressive and, give damage out as much as I possibly can, regardless of the actual risk. Now, sometimes that can be bad, but in some points I do agree to play passive and be better is to just farm up in the early game and just let your support help guide you in the lane. And as you can see right there on the screen, we do get first blood because I was patient enough to wait for my support to make a play, and I was still low at that time too. So it was still pretty risky to go in at that time, and I knew I could have made the play with my support. And I am duoing with my Thresh. He's my best friend in real life as well. So I did know what he was about to do, and I waited patiently till he got a hook, and then brought him the support into the turret. And I flashed. I pressed forward, and then got the double proc on my passive off. So it's always good to know exactly where and what your support is going to be doing, whether he's aggressive or passive. So the term last hitting is a term used by all League of Legends players. Last hitting is when a creep/minion spawned by the map is at a low hit point and you hit the minion to gain the gold for that minion. There is always talk on how many minions equals a kill. Each kill on a champion is equal to 300 gold. But if you do the math correctly, if you hit the first 15 minions in the laning phase, you earn 302 gold just for playing passively and farming. So it is not necessary to be kill hungry. So if you do 15, 30, 45, eventually you're going to be at 3 kills, 4 kills. And if you can outfarm your opponent, you're going to be ahead in gold. So that's always very good to keep in mind as well. Now, if you look at the gameplay on screen that you see in front of you, I am in a custom game playing Jhin. I'm just showing the tutorial on how to actually last hit. Now, all you want to do is just obviously hit the minion, and I'm going to have a live version of this right now. So I'm just going to give a little bit of overview of the lane that we're playing in right now. So this is Tark support for me, and then I'm playing Twitch, and then on their side they have Ashe and the Sona. And then as this is going on, watch me manage the health bars of the minions and how the actual term last hitting is used. So I do a pretty decent job of actual last hitting, but their laning comp on the other side is actually pretty struggling to play against. Because it's an Ashe with a lot of poke, and then there's a Sona with a lot of poke as well. So me and Tarek both agreed before the game started that it is best to just play passively and just farm up. So I'm last hitting the minions, and I'm trying to stay as far as away because Ashe's W does a lot of damage, and I do take a lot of actual poke throughout this laning phase, which isn't really good, which I haven't been keeping my distance, which I should have. Now, don't get too greedy for CS. Obviously, if you miss one, you miss one. You can't be perfect all the time, you know. Even pros miss CS all the time. So you can't be perfect every time. But in this, there's always different sort of lane comps that you're going to be matched up against. And there's times where you're going to have, you know, awesome CS where you won't have any sort of harass against you. And then there's going to be times where you will and can play passively against a lane that doesn't have a lot of, you know, lane pressure, like the Sona and Ashe or the Nami and Kate lane. Now, we just play passively, and all we do is last hit. We take the damage that we take because we can, and that's basically that. So I'll just let you guys keep watching this for just a second, as this is the defining definition of last hitting, just staying passive and just farming under tower. So like I said before, each 15 minions you get 302 gold. So as of right now I have 1 kill because I have 18 CS, so always keep that in mind as well. So for the laning part, ADCs are usually placed in the bot lane with the support to help guide them in the lane. But learning to lane with the support is also great to know for a strong laning phase. Now in this, like I said earlier in my previous part, I do know my support that I'm playing with is a Thresh. So we do have a lot of communication through Curse and other comms. So we know what we're going to be doing the next play, basically. So we did get first blood in the lane to start, and I got pretty low, and so he flashes out. The minions finally get Ashe, and then what I do is I kind of want to go over this really quick. So I didn't think that Leona could turn on me, which I had 1 more second on my E to dash away from her E, which I figured that she would probably come in. So I didn't listen to my support at that moment as well. My support was telling me to back off, or be careful, because Leona could have killed me because she does have 2 stuns, which does do damage. So if I'm low, she could easily turn on me and also make the adjustment to actually kill me. Now, I made that mistake and I wasn't listening to my support, so it's always good to listen to your pings or any sort of communication that you have with your support. Make sure you do listen, because most likely, most of the time, you're right, or he's right. Now, the only reason why I went ahead is because I do know Lucian's cooldowns to an extent, and I was watching my E, which is my little dash that I have, and I had about 1 second left on it, so a split second later, and I could have dodged it and killed her. So it definitely was possible, and I made an honest mistake, and I just wasn't listening to my support. So like I said, it's always good to listen to your support. So while in the laning phase, you're going to be getting ganks from your jungler, and then you're also going to be getting ganked from the enemy jungler. And we just got ganked from Garen previously to this clip, and we played it pretty well. We got out of it, and we got out safely. Now, this Leona jumps onto me, and I start throwing out my ultimate to make her back away. So we get her pretty low, and then Thresh hooks the Ashe away from the Leona, and Leona tries to get away. Then Jax flashes in, and gets the secured kill on the Leona, and then we also get the kill onto the Ashe as well. So it was pretty safe, pretty clean overall. And then also, Garen starts to come down, and Jax comes back to help assist us for it. Now, this part, it was played very well from us. And the Jax comes back in and jumps onto the actual Garen. He misplays it a little bit, and then Thresh gives him the Lantern to go out, and then he dies from minions. So it was a nice 3-for-1 trade, which wasn't bad, but I guess we came out on top on that. So it wasn't a bad trade at all. I'll take it any day. So it could have been cleaner, yes, but we get definitely an advantage off of that. Plus, Ashe misses this, I think, almost entire wave. And I've only backed once, and right now my CS is at 50, or 49, and will be 50. And it's about 9 minutes, so the CS that I'm at, it's okay. It's not bad. It definitely can be better. I've had better as well. Relatively, you want to be at, you know, maybe 70, 85 CS at tops. Other than that, you can't really get much better than pros, you know what I mean? So we finally back here. It's also always important, if you're low, just back. Always important to be, when you're low, just back, just play it safe, don't feed, you know, there's no reason for you to stay if you're low. So for the next part, it's team fights and picks. Now, we get to pick onto the Leona here, and it's always smart to always search and find picks around the map. Now, you will be able to do this if you have good map awareness. Now, this also fits into the part as well for finding picks, so I guess it would also be for map awareness as well. Now, map awareness is another term in League of Legends used by people. Now, if you look at the bottom right side of your screen, that is going to be the mini-map on the actual game. Now, if you watch that while you're playing, now it's going to take time. It's not going to, you know, come naturally. It may, you never know, but it does take time to watch the map and play at the same time. So it's always good to have map awareness of where the enemy jungler is, where the top lane, if they have TP and stuff like that. It's all good calculation inside the game. Now, so as of right now, you see the Katarina mid, you got the Zed top, and then you have the Ashe right now in the bot lane. As of right now, we do not have any sort of vision on the jungler, and we know our jungler is on the top side. So we have to be careful. Right now we have 2 wards in the tri-bush right at the bottom left side near the dragon pit, and then there's also another one in the bush in the river. So we have total vision of where and what we're going to be doing around the area. So we start to rotate towards the dragon, and I place a ward there as well. Now, we place a ward there because it'll give us more vision if the Garen is doing the dragon as well. So it's always good to have map awareness of where the enemy jungler is. So as you can see now, he is actually in the top lane, where he just counter-junged the Jax. And basically, now we know Garen is up on the top lane, and we have full vision of the surrounding area, so no mid laner can come, no jungler can come, and we can actually do whatever we want inside the lane. Okay, so for this next skirmish, we see that Garen and Zed are fighting in the top lane with our jungler and our top lane. Thresh lands a nice hook onto the Leona, and then Leona tries to E onto me, and then ult me. I E out of her ultimate, and then Thresh ults onto the Ashe. Now, if I didn't dodge Leona's ultimate and Thresh didn't ult the Ashe, I don't think we would have gotten the kills. So it was very well played from both of us to get the secured kill on the Ashe and the Leona. So we do notice that the Garen was top lane, and we push in to actually get this turret. Now, Ashe misses the entire CS wave because we obviously shut her down. And we do get the turret. So the first turret gold comes over to us in the bot lane. And then we do see a little skirmish going to happen in just about maybe 10 seconds or so. So Thresh starts to rotate towards the dragon, and then there's a little fight that happens, and we catch out the cat from Thresh hook, and then he throws me the lantern. I grab onto the lantern, and then we get the secured kill on the Ashe, or the cat, sorry, and then Thresh gets ulted by Garen. So I wanted to chase this, but then I had about 6 seconds on my E, and then I was like, okay, let's turn back around because I don't need to. And then they got the secured kill onto the Garen. So it was worth for them overall. And now all I do is just get the red buff, and we, in return, get something out of it. Okay, and a little team fight breaks out right here, and I just want to go over this because I made a little mistake. Now, I am separated from my team completely. They have all 5 of their guys able to come and kill me, and I made the mistake of trying to shut down the cat really quick before I obviously would get bursted down or anything like that. The cat did Zanya, and the Zed just came in and ulted me and killed me. So I made the mistake to obviously be separated from my team, and I should have stayed with my support and with my front line where I could have stayed behind them and kited back. Now I made that mistake, and it's something that you should not do. Always be with your team. Always be with the people that are going to be able to protect you as the AD carry. Okay, so now I've shown you how a team fight shouldn't go out for your positioning. Now this should be how a team fight goes. I am sitting in the back behind my teammates, kiting back, making sure that I'm safe, and my team is also being there for me and kiting for me back and trying to peel for me is what the actual term is. And we actually ace them, so we get an actual 5 for 1 actually. So 4 of us are still alive, and then they end up surrendering after this, and that's how a team fight should go, is where you should be in the back of your team where they peel for you and they protect you, and then you come in for the high damage dealing ADC carry that you are, and we do get the victory on that game. So thanks for watching, everyone. This is Marshmallow HD signing out.